Dear friends, today we have a special episode of Super Tony's Adventures. Enjoy! Tony, pack up your things and let's hop in our time machine. We are going back to the Cretaceous to see if you could win in a fight against the biggest and most terrible predator that has ever walked the Earth, the great and mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. We have arrived, Tony. Somewhere around here there's a hungry and very angry Tyrannosaurus. Hiding behind a rock won't work, my dear friend. This giant dinosaur has an incredible sense of hearing and smell. The first thing you should do is make sure that the wind won't take your smell directly to the predator. According to some data I have, the T-Rex is northwest from us. Luckily, the wind is blowing from there too. But don't lower your defenses, Tony. According to the latest studies, the Tyrannosaurus had a better sense of vision than modern eagles. In case you don't know, eagles can spot a small mouse at a distance of 2 kilometers, but the T-Rex can see his victim from a distance of up to 6 kilometers. So Tony, the Tyrannosaurus already knows you are here and he's coming for you to taste human meat for the first time. Oh, you're gonna fight back with a stick? Well, let's see. Let me explain the situation. The Tyrannosaurus is the biggest predator in our planet. The fossils of one of the biggest specimens of this species indicated that this creature was more than 12.5 meters long, 4 meters tall at the hips, and weighed 9.5 tons. And don't get me started on the huge and powerful jaws and the sharp teeth, which could be up to 30 centimeters in length from the root to the tip. So Tony, what are you gonna do with all this information? Run? Well, that is in fact the only way to save yourself. You probably don't agree with us, given that you have seen many T-Rex running way faster than humans. For example, in the movie franchise Jurassic Park. But those movies aren't accurate. Right now, most scientists believe that this giant and very heavy dinosaur couldn't run at all. The T-Rex was able to walk at a speed of 18 kilometers per hour. When you weigh several tons, you could break every bone in your body if you fall while running at a great speed. So what about you, Tony? The fastest man on Earth can run at a speed of 44 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, an average trained person could reach a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. You, on the other hand, spend your time on the sofa, eating burgers. So in theory, you could reach a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, but only if you try really hard. So I'd recommend you to start running, because this hungry predator is already near and could catch you any moment now. We're gonna travel 8 million years back in time. We are in the waters near Peru. This is a dwarf baleen whale known as Piscobalena. It is swimming peacefully, while eating plankton by filtering water with its mouth. But it doesn't know that it has become the target of the king of the seas, at least back then. We're talking about the giant 18-meter-long shark known as Megalodon. In just 1 second, the small whale becomes the lunch of this predator. The Megalodon lived all over the place, and it was the boss of the ocean and the most important sea predator for 10 million years, until it went extinct 3 million years ago. But how did the scariest sea creature in history disappear? Maybe they are still living somewhere, hiding from us, curious people. We're gonna study this question and tell you everything you need to know. Let's go! We know that its impressive size made the Megalodon a mighty creature, but it was also one of the reasons for its extinction. It all began 60 million years ago. The tectonic plates started to move, creating big mountains in North America and Asia. The weathering of mountains sent huge amounts of nutrients into the ocean. This made coastal waters the perfect environment for algae. They got bigger, as well as the animals eating them. Thanks to this, all creatures in the food chain started to get bigger, including sea mammals. Whales, dolphins, and seals have great amounts of fat in their bodies, which makes them a very nutritious and healthy snack for any predator. So, along with sea mammals, sharks also started to grow. In the span of 20 million years, they grew twice in size. Megalodon's teeth were found in the ribs of many unidentified types of whales, as well as pinnipeds the size of sea lions. So, getting bigger was a perfect tactic for these giant sharks, until things started to change. This happened approximately 5 million years ago, when the Earth's climate started to change. The air's average temperature went down, which led to the formation of new glaciers. The level of the oceans also went down, and many shallow, warm seas disappeared. And those were the favorite living place of giant sharks. The currents also changed and the oceans got colder. This didn't affect the Megalodon straight away, but it did have an impact on its food. Whales and other big mammals had a better blood circulatory system, and they could easily eat in colder waters. And so they did, leaving their enemy in the warmer waters. So, the Megalodon started running out of food. This was the first reason of their extinction. The next problem was the appearance of the first toothed whales, the ancestors of modern killer whales. They lived in groups and were more intelligent than other whales. They could swim and move better than megalodons, who were bigger and had a slower metabolism. So, the giant shark had problems competing with these new, more advanced predators, and starvation became a problem. Moreover, these toothed whales could hunt in groups of up to 10, so sometimes they attacked megalodons and could defeat even adult specimens, not to mention baby sharks. Long story short, the king of the seas wasn't at the top of the food chain anymore. Every year, there were fewer giant sharks until they disappeared completely about 2 million years ago. That is the sad story of the most unique and dangerous sea predator in Earth's history. Tony, let's go back to our time, before you go extinct in this old, dangerous world. Although that would be interesting. I could go back to the 21st century, dig you up, and become famous as the first person that found the remains of the first drawn person in history. Everyone would talk about you and think that you were too dumb and so you went extinct. Bazinga! Okay, I'm kidding, let's go back home. By the way, some fishermen have supposedly seen creatures resembling the Megalodon at the bottom of the sea. According to many, Megalodons are still around, but they hide from us. But real scientists laugh at those people who believe in such rumors, because the Megalodon simply couldn't live in our world. Or could it? I think you all know about the most famous catastrophe in the history of our planet. Yes, Tony, I'm talking about the huge asteroid that hit the Earth and wiped out the giant dinosaurs that reigned at the time. But what if it had missed our planet? Would we be living side by side with dinosaurs now? Would our homes be inhabited not by cats and dogs, but by cute, little, domesticated dinosaurs? Would shepherds herd not cows but giant triceratops? Would the mounted police be called Dino Police? Or maybe humans would have not appeared if dinosaurs were still on Earth? Or would there have been a completely different race of intelligent dinos with arms and legs like ours? We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's go. So, dinosaurs lived on our planet for about 160 million years. In the process, they evolved and changed. Predators hunted herbivores, and herbivores ate ferns, the most common plant on the planet at that time. But then, 65 million years ago, the first flowering plants began to appear. Scientists believe that by the Eocene period, 55 million years ago, they would have taken over almost all ecological niches, displacing Jurassic ferns and changing the diet of all giant herbivores. However, flowering plants are digested much faster than ferns and contain more nutrients. This would have accelerated the growth of dinosaurs, but would have reduced their size, so giant dinos would have been replaced by smaller versions. And what about humans? Would we have become a race of intelligent reptiles? Most scientists agree that this is very unlikely, because dinosaur brains are too weak, and it's not because of their size. It turns out that humans became intelligent thanks to the large number of neural connections in the mammalian brain. As you see, size doesn't matter. What you need to be more intelligent is a fast brain. As with modern technology, right? Devices get smaller and smarter at the same time. So does that mean that intelligent humans wouldn't have appeared? And neither would Tony? Not exactly. The first mammals appeared over 200 million years ago and lived in the dinosaur world for a very long time. But there were only a few of them back then, and they were small rodents a little bigger than a modern cat. In a dangerous world full of giant dinosaurs, these mammals had to survive somehow, so they led a nocturnal lifestyle and hid in trees or underground, and they fed on plants and insects. But 65 million years ago, the power balance shifted. Most huge and predatory dinosaurs became extinct, and mammals took control. They began to emerge from their hiding places and evolve. giving origin to almost all animals that now live on our planet. So, if dinosaurs had remained, mammals would have stayed in the shadows. However, the boldest paleontologists believe that they would have continued to change and evolve, giving rise to many species of rodents, bats, and even small primates. And these primates could have become the first humans. Only they would have to fight dinosaurs instead of saber-toothed cats. Nevertheless, the world would not be a bloody mess like in the movie Jurassic Park. Of course, dinosaurs are predators, but they are lazy and like to chill in the sun after a hearty lunch. We would have learned to avoid them just as we learned to deal with saber-toothed tigers, wolves, and bears. But all of this would have happened much later than it actually did. In the dinosaur world, it would have taken much longer for mammals to evolve from a rodent to an ape, and from an ape to a human. After all, it would have not been so easy to get down from a tree and go plant yams in a field with T-Rexes and other big, toothy lizards wandering around somewhere. So in an alternate universe, where a giant asteroid didn't hit Earth 65 million years ago, humans most likely already exist, but are still at the very beginning of their evolution. They probably hide in caves from dangerous T-Rexes and hunt Diplodocus, which are probably a little larger than a modern elephant. And in another few million years, some species of dinosaurs may well have been domesticated. Some could be used as livestock and some as loyal friends and companions. A few thousand years later, the internet and YouTube would have appeared, and an alternate supertony would tell his alternate viewers about what would happen if a giant asteroid did hit the Earth and wiped out all the dinosaurs. And he would end the video with some touching phrase about how we need to protect all creatures great and small, and that velociraptors are man's best friend. Friends, tell us in the comments what dinosaurs you would have as a pet if you had the opportunity and why. The most interesting comments will appear in our next video. And of course, like, subscribe, and don't miss the new Super Tony videos. Bye-bye!